Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing today is we're going to be walking through how to use the puppet tool and pre-render people for simplifying things such as walk cycles and other cyclical animations that you may want to control using time remapping or other techniques. The major advantage of this is that by pre-rendering these, we can have collapse transformations on and we can make these people much larger, allowing us to zoom in and not lose quality and maintain people looking crisp and not break them with the puppet tool. We're going to isolate this person, which we have this guy called Office Dude from the side. His is his side view, and we're going to make a quick, simple walk cycle, so we need to animate his arms, his head, and his legs a little bit. First thing we need to do is make this comp significantly larger so that we can increase his scale so that everything will work correctly. Let's go ahead and just pull it up to about 500. 500 by 1,000 should be plenty. And then we'll take him, we will select it, find his torso. That looks like it. Yep, okay, so we'll select everything else and parent them all to that so that way we can scale them up correctly. Okay. Now, first things first, the arms and stuff we may want to handle with rotation instead of the actual puppet tool. So in which case we're going to go ahead and move the anchor point so that it maps to his shoulder so it's easy to rotate. Now typically if you're doing this you may want to actually duplicate the layer first so you can line it up correctly again. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and map out the area, the time we're going to do this over. Our walk cycle doesn't need to be very long because we use interpret footage later to loop the footage. That way we just need it to come to a still point and then we need to go and then have it walk a couple steps. So we can have a couple of different versions of him and it's easier to do that and then we can just swap them out as needed. Alright, here's the puppet tool up here. Looks like we might have a problem because his shoes, are not connected to his legs. So first things first, let's go ahead and link up the shoes and legs. We're going to pre-compose these. Okay, let's go ahead and move his arms a little bit. I think probably some simple rotation will be more than enough. Alright, there we have it. We have our walk cycle. Let's go ahead and trim our work area. Now, we'll save real quick. We will pre-render him. And the trick to this is we want to make sure that we preserve his alpha channel. So we're going to do RGB plus alpha and try to get the file size down. Try to get the file size down just a little bit. We're going to use the PNG codec. can see we have our pre-rendered walk cycle. We'll just save that right where the source for him is. And now at this point we can go back to our helicopter scene where we need to have him doing something more than sliding across the screen. So let's go ahead first. Let's get this out of the way. First, we're going to interpret footage. Here we go. And we're going to go ahead and loop him 100 times, because that should be more than enough. Okay, a couple things. We need to add some motion blur to him. Yeah, it won't show up in the pre-render, but okay, it seems a little slow to me. Let's go ahead now. This is where it gets easy. Because we made it, we always want to err on the side of making our cycles and things like that a little longer than they need to be. You know, take more time, so that we can, because we can always use time remapping to correct for it. So it looks like I think we need to about double it. So we're looking at this is 4 seconds of walking. Let's go ahead and double the rate at which he moves. Looks like he has a bit of a limp, but he's moving anyway. Perfect. Well, good enough for our purposes. Anyway, and that is how we incorporate our walk cycles.